very own CHCA News.
Hello, thank you for joining us. Criminal charges are pending against the driver in a deadly school bus crash.
It happened yesterday in Calgary, killing a 9-year-old girl and injuring several other children. Now, the female driver, seen here immediately after the crash, is reportedly distraught. Police say she failed to brake before hitting a gravel truck parked at the side of a busy expressway. One teen remains in critical condition tonight. School officials had an update on how other students are coping with this tragedy.
We had about 60.
Now, there were 11 students aboard at the time of the crash. The bus had seat belts, but it's not known if the children were belted in at the time. Ahead on CHCA News at 5:30, Tina McCrease will tell us how a tragic event like this bus crash impacts one school board's safety decisions. Police have crippled the Calgary chapter of a new gang and hauled in a huge cache of drugs and weapons. After a 5-month investigation, they raided 4 locations. They seized more than $2 million worth of drugs, including 17 kilograms of cocaine, weapons, and stolen goods. 7 people are now facing dozens of charges. Joe Croteau has that story.
Double-edged, which we would consider to be a very deadly weapon.
Police say 6 of the 7 people they arrested have previous records, and they'll be making every effort to keep them behind bars. It's believed they're members of a gang with chapters in BC and New York that set up in Calgary about 6 months ago. Well, a former U.S. Vice President has won this year's Nobel Peace Prize. Al Gore sharing the honor with the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change for their work in raising awareness about global warming. Gore says he's giving his share of the $1.5 million prize to the Alliance for Climate Protection. Canadian environmentalist Sheila Watt-Cloutier was also considered a frontrunner.
You talk about snow, Susie. I am thankful for what we're experiencing right now.
Not surprised. Last night was cold enough, certainly,
Yes.
and there's lots of frost on the grass and, of course, the car.
And the windshields.
Yeah.
A lot of people had to work the windshields.
Do you have a scraper, Susie?
I've invented a scraper. Does that count?
Credit cards don't count.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'd better hustle because there is the chance that we could see some snowfall across Red Deer tonight. I'll explain why in just a moment.
Welcome back. Aaron and I were lucky enough to take part in the battle to boost literacy today.
We were at Maddie McCullough Elementary School this morning reading to grade 1 and 2 students. This is the 6th annual CanWest Raise a Reader Day. All across the country, volunteers hit the streets and went to schools in an effort to get more people like these students hooked on reading and to raise money for vital youth and family literacy projects.
Now, the Raise a Reader program has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last few years, and I know I had a lot of fun with my kids. Had a PowerPoint presentation.
You did
Gifts for all the kids. They were great, though. Really great sports. Had fun.
They
had
must
a lot
have
of
been
good
excited to have
questions.
superstars like you guys there.
Oh, yeah. You can really feel it. You can feel it.
Good morning, Miss Harrison. Good morning, Mr. Gibson.
She got the gifts. I had to show up with gifts. The man accused of murdering an RCMP officer made his first court appearance today. Emra Bulaci was wearing the standard blue prison-issue T-shirt and pants as he entered a Yellowknife courthouse. People entering the courtroom had to go through metal detectors. Bulaci's appearance was brief, and he didn't enter a plea. He's back in court December the 13th. The 23-year-old is charged with the murder of Constable Christopher Warden. He died while checking out a trouble call on Hay River on October 6th. An Alberta think tank agrees there are problems with the royalty review, but unlike the oil companies that protested yesterday, the Parkland Institute says the report should have called for higher rate hikes. The Institute released a report Wednesday that says the review panel's recommendations are too much of a compromise. The Parkland report says there are a number of advantages Alberta has over other oil-producing countries. They believe companies will pay a premium to invest here over places that are politically unstable. The think tank also suggested there should be more public ownership in the oil industry. It says the Stelmach government should ensure a public role in the industry either through buying out companies or through equity purchases in individual projects. Well, another big bump for the Canadian dollar yesterday. It closed up almost half a cent. It will now buy you $1, 2.5 cents American. But while the loonie soars, many shoppers here think Canadian retailers are not passing on the savings. So they're taking their new buying power across the border. Anthony Robart has that story.
So this model here is the...
And they have to be of equal or exceeding value of the ticket. And if not, then they pay the difference.
You can drop off your toy donations at City Hall on December 5th and 6th from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Well, it's creating a real buzz in the city. Red Deer's International Beer Fest makes its way into town for the first time. The event is attracting brewmasters and beer connoisseurs from around the world. You'll get a chance to brush up on your brewing history and taste test more than 70 varieties of beer. Organizers say this event is also an opportunity to clear up some common misconceptions.
A lot of people are going to think this is a big, drunk fest, which it isn't. This is really the appreciation of beer. So it's time to come down and find out what you're consuming, and not about the overconsumption. It's about the education.
The event goes until 11 tonight and from 4 p.m. to 11 tomorrow at the Capri Center.
My favorite festival of the
year.
year.
It is a great festival. Wine is nice, but it's nice to go and have just a little taste of beer because you can really taste the difference if you don't, overdo it. Rebels fans will have a chance to help out a good cause and get their hands on their favorite players' sticks. A silent auction will be held during tonight's game. Fans will be bidding for signed hockey sticks with a hint of pink, the color of the cause, which will get all the proceeds of the auction, and that's, of course, breast cancer research.
Those look pretty on them.
Now the look, and that is a good idea, isn't it?
Absolutely,
yeah. It's a great idea for a great cause. The boys are at it tonight. Good to see.
Yes, hosting the Kootenai Ice, and not only that, we've got some big-time curling coming to town, Rob.
Didn't
know.
Yeah,
big names coming for the World Curling Tour.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but some people make pies, others carve pumpkins. But a small community in Oregon, well, they have a different plan for their gourds. A pumpkin weighing close to 1,000 pounds was hoisted into the air and dropped onto an empty school bus. But it was part of a community tradition in Aurora, Oregon. The purpose is to celebrate fall and, of course, watch the pumpkin plunge, and the kids love it, too.
Oh, yes, they do.
How do
Look
they
at
get
them
to
run.
school now?
They get a new school bus.
You talk about snow, Susie. I'm thankful for what we're experiencing right now.
Not surprised. Last night was cold enough, certainly,
Yes.
and there's lots of frost on the grass, and, of course, the car.
And the windshields.
Yep.
A lot of people had to work the windshields.
Do you have a scraper, Susie?
I've invented a scraper. Does that count?
Credit cards don't count.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'd better hustle.
The call came in at noon, and it only took minutes for a piece of Ponoka history to become completely engulfed by flames. The building was cleared and the surrounding area blocked off and then evacuated.
The inside of the store was pretty much engulfed in smoke and flames, and by that point the building had been evacuated. There was nobody inside.
Fire crews from Ponoka, Ponoka County, Lacombe, and Muscatcheese from Hobbema all responded to beat down the flames. They worked quickly to remove propane tanks and had to use extreme caution because the contents included solvents and ammunition. Then they went to work on saving the surrounding buildings.
The challenge has been to contain it just to the one store, because the other businesses are basically adjoining this building here.
The cause of the blaze won't be known until investigators sift through the ashes once the building stops smoldering. The owner of the store, Bruce Blackmore, was visibly shaken and didn't want to appear on camera. His wife, Heather, told CH News they're just happy no one was hurt. Concern was written all over the faces of onlookers, including Blackmore's sister. The store can be rebuilt, but the history that went with the Railway Street building is gone forever.
I feel, heartbroken.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
We've had lots of major fires over the past years, and I've seen lots of them, but this one's pretty big, and the buildings next door to that one are important as well, and I think that's what they're trying to do is maintain and save them. I think that's really important. You have to feel for the guy. It's his livelihood. It's what he knows. What do you do? Start all over again? I think the community will get behind him. Right. I think we'll convince Bruce that he needs to stay.
When I opened the door to the garage, I could see that the gas line was broken, and I knew that I probably couldn't make it over here. That would be a risky thing to do. So I ran downstairs and killed the main power to the house while my wife grabbed my son and ran over to her neighbor's house.
Not the best way to start the day. McGill says he had a good idea what happened when he heard the crash.
So basically you can see where it snapped the gas line off there, and that was what was filling the whole house with gas.
The McGills left the house and called the builder right away. Pete Barron with Red Deer EMS says he did all the right things.
He was smart. As soon as he realized he had a problem, he went and he shut off his main breaker and he got his family out and called us.
The McGills took possession of their new house just a few days ago, and after months of delays, this was the last thing they were counting on.
We're fairly shooken up, so it's not something you want to go through. It's just lucky that nobody was hurt. This could have been a serious catastrophe.
We spoke with the builder who's been in business in Red Deer for 20 years. The company assured us it would do everything it could to make this right for the McGills, but for now, the family is worried about what comes next.
Due to the problems and stuff that we've had with this builder, we intend to go as far as we can with this.
Brand new home, so you expect when you move into these homes that nothing like that's going to happen. It's certainly something we don't come across very often.